Okay, let's go over our answers. So we'll use the little chat here. Okay, BC. What does BC stand for? Type it in the chat. I want to hear your answers. Good, Chase. Excellent, Sarah. Good. Yep. Perfect. Before Christ. That's what BC stands for. So whenever you, good, Emma. So whenever you see BC, that is the time that happens before year 1. Okay, before year 1, before Christ. All right, now AD. Does anyone remember what AD stands for? AD. Not after death. Because if it was after death, we'd lose some time. That's what a lot of people think it stands for. Nope, not that either. Does anyone remember? Anyone at all? I'll give you a clue. It doesn't even start with after. Ah, Emma! Ding ding, gold star! You were so close. I'm gonna type it in. Anno Domini. It means in the year of our Lord. AD. It does sound like a Harry Potter spell. You're right. AD. So this is any time that happens after year 1 AD. All right, BCE. What does BCE stand for? Good. Before current era or before common era. Either one is acceptable. It is the same as BC. It is time that happens before year 1. And our last one, CE. Lovely. Current era. Beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful. It happens after year 1. Good. Current era, common era. Wonderful. Awesome. So this was just a review from yesterday. These are times that we're going to see throughout our study of history. It's good to know them, cherish them, keep them close to your heart, etc. All right, moving on. Okay, so today we are going to be talking about location. Okay, location is really important because it's important to know where we are in the world. Okay, we're going to talk about 2 types of locations today. We are going to talk about absolute location and relative location. Okay, absolute location and relative. Absolute location is the exact place on Earth. It is the exact point in which you stand on the planet. Relative location is a place's location based on another place. For example, if I said, Chase, the McDonald's is located just around the corner, that's relative location. Or Brooklyn, I live just across the street, that's relative location. A little vague, they're just giving the general direction, general location, which is why it's called relative. Absolute is the exact point. So that is the difference. So here we go. We're going to keep going. Okay, here are some examples of relative location. I just gave you a few, but here's a few more. McDonald's is around the corner. It's relative. Or Phoenix is south of Flagstaff. So that's relative because Flagstaff and Phoenix are pretty big. So it's just relative. Here's a map of Arizona. You can even see Phoenix is south of Flagstaff. All right, so I want you all to think of an example of relative location and type it in the chat. What's an example of relative location? Atlantis is a place. I'm looking for relative location. Where is it in relation to another place? An example of relative location. I live in the gated community next to Wilson. Good, that is a relative location because you gave me another, oh. Samaj, are you lost? Do you know where to go? Okay, good. I live in Leawood. Hogwarts is down the street from Diagon Alley. That's perfect, Kylie. That is perfect. Herman, the house is across the street. Good. Good. All right. Those are good examples of relative location. All right, let's keep going. Oops, I didn't mean to go that far. Oh, yeah, I did. Okay, here we go. Absolute location. Okay, absolute location, like I said, it's the exact point in which you are on the planet. Now, when we are using absolute location, we usually give people a set of coordinates. These coordinates are lines of latitude and longitude, okay? All right, so this, I'm just going to preface this, is a little bit confusing of a topic, so everyone needs to listen up because it's important and it's not easy. So, longitude and latitude. We'll start with lines of longitude. Good, if this is review, that makes me happy. The last class was a little confused. So, longitude. The way I remember longitude is by its name. Longitude. Your mouth literally goes like this. Longitude. These lines run north and south, up and down, north and south. 0 degrees longitude is the prime meridian. It is the center of the longitude lines. 0 degrees, prime meridian. So that is longitude. Okay, it is the center line. Now, with that, that means that latitude, those lines run east and west. They run east and west. And latitude, if you say it, latitude, it's really wide, east to west, latitude. So we have longitude and latitude. All right, so latitude, another way to remember is latitudes are on the flat lines. Lat is flat. That's another way to remember. All right, so the center line for latitude is the equator, and it is at 0 degrees. So for longitude, it's the prime meridian. For latitude, it's the equator, 0 degrees. I know this is all a lot of information for you, but we have to go over it. The equator is so hot, Chase. The closer you get to the equator, the more on fire you feel. The equator is really, really hot. Really hot. All right, so let's keep going. All right, so how do we find our absolute location? So first we begin with latitude. When you see a set of coordinates, so everyone on the chat, I'm going to type something, so cease your conversations. So here is a coordinate. So let's say I gave you the coordinate 40 degrees south, 20 degrees east, okay? That's a coordinate. So latitude is the first number you see. So latitude lines, here's where it gets confusing. Even though latitude lines run east to west, they run sideways, you're going to only use north and south in your directions. And I'm going to show you exactly how to find it. So latitude runs east and west, but when you're saying latitude, you say 40 degrees south latitude. The second number you see is longitude. So this would be 20 degrees east longitude. Now, I know I just gave you a lot of information, but the simple way to think about it is to find your line of latitude, find your line of longitude, and then find where the 2 points meet. So we are going to watch a little video to kind of help. During the video, remember we're not using the chat, otherwise the chat is going to go away really soon. So I want you to listen up because this is not easy and it's also very distracting. So I'm going to stop sharing for a second and we're going to do this. We're going to share content. Ta-da! Let's see, hopefully you guys can see. Well, hold on. It was supposed to be on there. Okay, can you all see that? Give me a thumbs up or thumbs down. Okay, Chase can see it. Anyone else? Emma, Grace, Herman. Okay, awesome. All right, here we go. So listen really closely. His voice is kind of boring. His voice is really boring, okay? But he gives a great presentation on how to find longitude and latitude. So here we go.
Today I want to practice a little bit with you about how we can find absolute locations using lines of latitude and lines of longitude. So for this example, and whenever you're trying to find a line of a point of absolute location, you always need to start with the line of latitude. And just a reminder, the latitude lines are the ones that go side to side. The lat lines are the flat lines. So you always want to start with your finger here on the mouse at 0 degrees, the equator. Let's start by trying to find point A on this map, what that line of latitude and longitude is. So you can see to find what flat line point A is on right here, we go from 0 degrees and we're going to travel 20 degrees south. So that is the line of latitude that point A is on, is 20 degrees south latitude. But we also need to find what its longitude is. So just bear in mind that it's at 20 degrees south latitude, but we also need to find what the longitude is. So for longitude, you need to start again at 0 degrees, and that would be the prime meridian. So in this case, to find where point A is, you can travel along the curved line, and you would find that point A rests at 100 degrees longitude. Now, just bear in mind that on maps like this, you're going to find that the lines of longitude are curved, and that's because the Earth, of course, is a sphere. It's not a flat surface. So if we were listing the absolute location of this point, point A right here, we would list it at 20 degrees south latitude and 100 degrees east longitude, because the point is south of the equator and east of the prime meridian. So let's go ahead and try again with point B right up here. So again, we're going to want to start with what its degree is of latitude. So we start again here at 0 degrees, the equator, and we're going to move up 20, 40, 60, 80 degrees latitude for where point B is. So we would classify that as 80 degrees north latitude. But then we also need to find what the longitude is. And lo and behold, point B is right on the prime meridian. So it intersects where 80 degrees north meets 0 degrees east or west. So its latitude and longitude range, you would list that as 80 degrees north latitude, 0 degrees longitude. Let's do one last one for practice, and we'll go with point G right here since we are in the United States, and that looks like it's pretty close to South Dakota. So again, we're going to start at 0 degrees latitude, and we'll find that point G goes up 20, 40 degrees latitude. So G is on the line of latitude 40 degrees north. So let's go to the line of longitude, and we'll find that point G, we move over 20, 40, 60, 80, 100, 120 degrees. Oh, excuse me, it looks like it's just 100 degrees. 100 degrees is where you would follow that curved line around. So point G would be at 40 degrees north latitude, 100 degrees. Is that east or west of the prime meridian, do you think? That's right, it's west of the prime meridian. So it'd be at 40 degrees north latitude, 100 degrees west longitude. Well, thank you for tuning in today. I hope you learned a little bit more about using latitude.
Can you all hear me? Okay, there we go. All right, so he did a pretty good job explaining how to find it. So now, as a class, we're going to do some practicing of our own together. Here we go. So I found the map, the exact map that oh, not that one. There we go. So I found the map that he's using. So we're going to practice some of those lines. Sorry, it makes me go through the whole thing, which is very annoying. Okay, so I'm going to give you a coordinate, and you have to tell me which letter lines up with that coordinate. Okay, the first one I will do is our line of latitude is 0. Our line of longitude is 140 degrees west. What letter does that hit? Beautiful. C. Now, how did they get that? Let's go over it. So, 0 degrees was our line of latitude. Da, 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 da. And then 140 degrees west. So I came up to 0. You always start at 0. Okay, when in doubt, always start at 0. So I had to go west. So west, we go to the left. And I went all the way over to 140 degrees. And then I came down to where they intersect. So 0, 140, that is C. That is C. You're right, it's the only one with 0. And, let me try a harder one. Let's see. All right, next one. This one is 20 degrees south and 20 degrees east. What letter falls on 20 degrees south, 20 degrees east? Beautiful, beautiful. Yep, you all are so wonderful. F is correct. How did we get that? Well, I said 20 degrees south, so we start at 0 on our latitude line. Remember, east to west. And then we went 20 degrees south, so here's our line here. And then, sorry, let me get rid of that. 20 degrees south, and then 20 degrees east. Remember, east, we go to the right. So we come up to our 0, we go 20 degrees east, and then we find where the two lines intersect. Let's do one more for good measure. This time I'm going to flip it. You have to give me the coordinates for country, or it's not a country, but location D. What would be the coordinates? This is a little trickier. Ding, 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 ding. You are correct. You are correct. Good. It is west. So some of you are really close, but it is west. It is 60 degrees south and 40 degrees west. So some of you were so close. Sarah, you were right to correct yourself. Good work. All right. Oh, I meant to say 60 south. Sorry. I was typing too fast. So 60 degrees south. So yeah, getting our directions right is kind of a challenge sometimes. So how do we find that? We came over here 0, we went down to 60 degrees south and 40 degrees west. So remember that west is to the left, east is to the right. Okay, we will practice this more later, so if you're like, I just don't get it, then we will be practicing this. So never fear, never fear. Okay, so we're going to keep going. This time I want to practice identifying whether a location is absolute or whether it is relative. So go ahead and get out a piece of paper. Get out a piece of paper and write down 1 through 5. And we are going to identify whether each of these is relative or absolute. You do not need to write down the question. You don't need to write all of this down. Just write 1 and then absolute or relative. When you're finished, just look at the camera. Then I'll know. Yes, Sarah, that's perfect. Alright, I'll give you about 30 more seconds and then we'll go over it together. Alrighty. Number 1. This is an address, 575 North 7th Street. Is it absolute or relative? Type it in the chat. Absolute or relative? Beautiful. Absolute. Good. Absolute. It's giving you an exact address to find someone so that it's not vague. You know exactly where to go. Beautiful. 2, 5 blocks west of McDonald's. Beautiful. Relative. Yep, it's in a vague location. It could be far, could be not so far. It's just in a general direction. Number 3, Philadelphia is 40 degrees north and 75 degrees west. Absolute. Oh, you guys are so good. You guys are so good. Okay, good. Yep, it's giving you coordinates. Number 4, Costco is around the corner from my house, which is a real thing. Costco is literally around the corner from where I live. Yes, relative. Good. More vague, not exact. And then number 5, St. Louis is in eastern Missouri. Ooh, we have mixed bag. We have a mixed bag. This one is relative. It's relative. It's relative because St. Louis, eastern Missouri is such a huge piece of land that eastern Missouri could be anywhere. So saying that St. Louis is in eastern Missouri is too vague. It's not exact. If you wanted to give someone an exact location, you would have to give them coordinates to show them where St. Louis is. Alrighty, so let's keep going. Now we've finished this PowerPoint. Yay! We can all cheer. Okay, so what we're going to do now is I'm going to show you 2 more things, okay? And then we're going to move on to our quiz, which I know you all are so excited about, because I know I am so excited about it. Okay, so I'm going to show you 2 more things, and then I will let you work on your quiz. So let me see if I can open up the right. I never open up the correct screen that I want. See, that's not the screen I wanted. And that's not the screen I wanted. Go away, YouTube. Okay, here we go. So, can everyone see that? Can you give me a thumbs up or a thumbs down? Okay, wonderful. All right, so we're going to talk about projections. Now, because the world, here's my handy dandy globe, ta-da! Because the world is round, it is difficult for people to create an accurate map on something that is flat, like a piece of paper. I mean, how do you make something that's round be flat? So cartographers have been able, a cartographer is a map maker, cartographers have been able to create projections of the world on a flat map. Now, there are 2 types of projections, okay? 2 types of projections. There are physical projections and there are political projections. What I just pulled up, this is an example of a political map. A political map shows the boundaries of countries and states as set by governments. Adrian can't see it. I'll stop sharing for a second and let's try it again. Let's try it again. All right, here we go. All right, so this is an example of a political map. These boundaries were put together by the government, which is why it is called a political map. Now, the second type of map, I don't know why it's so zoomed in. Hold on. I have no idea why it's so zoomed. Stop zooming. It's worse. Okay, well, it's just huge. Anyway, this is a physical map, and a physical map shows geographical landforms. So we're talking mountains, rivers, oceans, It even shows the mountains in the oceans, because yes, there are mountains in the ocean, believe it or not, which is kind of cool. So a physical map shows these things. It shows all the different types of landforms. Let me let in a Monty. There we go. All right, so these are the two types of maps, and you need to know this for when you're reading maps. All right, so moving on. The last thing I want to go over is about, let me read that again. Mountains make oceans make islands, right? Close. Well, yes, mountains make islands, but also volcanoes do too, like Hawaii. Hawaii is considered a hotspot because the underground volcano pushes up lava and it creates an island. The first map that I showed you is a political map. This is a political map. This is a physical map. So, good question. All right, you have some questions about the quiz, and I will answer them right now. Okay, so I need everyone listening really closely. This quiz is open book. It is open note, open book. It is not open neighbor, so you can't like ask your friends what they got on the test, but it is open note and open book. Why? Because I'm more interested in you learning the material than I am in you just memorizing, taking a grade, and that's it. Now, I have it set to 2 attempts, and I need everyone to listen really closely on this. Because I had some kids in the last class and they sped through it and they got a really bad grade, and because they didn't try. Okay, there is no reason why you should not succeed on this quiz. This quiz is not easy. It's not like a walk in the park. But because you have all the resources available to you to find the answers, if you don't know the answer right off the top of your head, you should look it up. Look it up. So there are 10 questions. 10 questions. You have unlimited time to take it, so no time pressure. And it is open note, open book. You have 2 attempts. I will take the highest score. If you fail, so when I say fail, I mean if you get below a 70%, then you must retake it. You have to retake it. If you get above a 70%, then it is your choice. Okay? Kylie, wouldn't looking it up be cheating? Not if it's for learning purposes. That's what this quiz is for. It's for learning purposes, okay? I want you to learn the material. So, if you don't know it, you must research it. Okay, so 10 questions, unlimited time, 2 attempts. If you get below a 70, you must retake it. You have no choice but to retake it. Okay, I'm going to give you the rest of the class period till 10:30 to go ahead and take the quiz. If you do not finish by 10:30, you may finish on your own time. It is due by Friday.
Oh yeah, how do we get to the quiz?
Oh, such a good question. That is such a good question. Okay, so I'm going to share my screen. You are going to go to your social studies tab on Canvas. Ignore this. This is what we're just looking at. Go to your social studies screen on Canvas, and then it says 1.01 time and place in history quiz. It is under module 1. Whoa. I don't know why my thing just did that. Stop it. I don't know why it did that. Okay. It says 1.01 time and place in history quiz. It's the bottom, it's the last thing on your module 1 tab. So like if you scroll down, I'm trying to use student view, but my thing is being weird. So if you scroll all the way down, it's literally the last thing, and it has a rocket next to it. Time and place in history. It's the last one. Okay, does anyone have any questions? Yes, but make sure you take your quiz on your own time. Yes, Sarah, it is open notes, open book, which means open resources.
Is it on number 1 thing? Going into it, and then is it like number 1?
Yeah, so it's
The first one?
it's module 1, but it's the last thing on module 1.
No, so like you go into it, and then you know how there's like the tabs that you click on?
Yeah. The
You go
to-do,
all the way to number 8.
number 8.
You go all the way till number 8 or number 1.
I'm not sure what you're asking. Number 8 or number... Hold on.
Cause you know how you like the little arrows?
Can you see this?
Yeah.
Okay. See module 1?
Yeah.
It's the last one. Right here.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay, I thought it was.
There you go. Yes, we are taking the quiz right now. But like I said, we cannot use Open Neighbor, so the chat, only use it if you have to ask me a question. You can use everything else except each other. Here, I'll show you one more time. So, share. It is the one. Oh. Okay, it's the one at the very bottom. It says 1.01 Ancient Origins, Time and Place in History. It's literally, if you go to Module 1, it's the last thing on Module 1. Do you see it, Brooklyn? Okay.